Blessed love family. Yes, I give thanks to the life giver and the keeper of life, Emperor Haile Selassie I. We glorify the Black Christ in flesh, the Honorable King Emmanuel Charles Edwards Marcus Garvey, to be praised. Yeah, man. Who? Somebody saying, oh, what about the woman? I like this as if one can't see what's happening here. We glorify the mother of creation in everything we do. Hey, we definitely welcome you to the Tiger's Nest, any which way you put it, wherever we are. We are in the Tiger's Nest, Priest Isaac's Institute of Holistic Knowledge. And today we want to speak about Christ, cartoons, and cannabis. And of course, you'll see where we are going when we get there in a few moments. And this is really to prep you for the upcoming lecture on Wednesday. Remember, we have the mighty lecture coming up on Wednesday, which will be Fairy Tale Folly Days and Nursery Crimes, the Firing Squad edition. We're going to be definitely taking down the fairy tale, so make sure that you are in the house. That's Wednesday, the 22nd, and remember the 23rd, we're definitely going to be doing the Santa Claus Massacre, and the 26th, we'll be doing Haile Selassie Rastafari and Freemasonry. Make sure you contact us. Go to the website, which is priestisaacInstitute.com. Of course, all the links are in the description of this video below. You know, definitely order your tickets. And for sure, remember, if you're coming to the 3 lectures, you get a special price on those tickets thereof. But I'll tell you a bit more about that as we go in. Remember, this is Chalice Talk. So I'm going to light up my chalice now. And what we're going to do, we're going to observe a bit of the Night of the Black Tiger. I don't know how many of you have ordered your documentary, the video documentary, The Night of the Black Tiger, but you should definitely get a copy of it for sure. And even before we go too far, let me just highlight this for you. Let me just open the link to our website. I'm talking about the Priest Isaac's Institute of Holistic Knowledge. And I just want to highlight for those who do not know, as I said before, until the 2nd of January, remember the 2nd of January now is my Earth Day. Yes, we're going to be having a special ceremony, celebration on radio, and also just prep yourself for the 2nd of January, right? But what I'm saying, anyone who orders the International Homeschool, the homeschool specifically from you order the homeschool, I'm talking about homeschool, international homeschool from you take the homeschool program before the 2nd of January, you will definitely get a free Tiger's Nest, a t-shirt. These are the creation of the Honorable Prince Almasi, of course. And of course, you could buy your t-shirt. You don't have to order, you know, the international homeschool to get a t-shirt. But I'm just showing you that if you take the international homeschool package, you know what the international homeschool package is, eh? And don't tell me, well, priest, I don't have no children as yet. It's all right. You are a child of God. And the knowledge within the international homeschool, I've come to realize that a lot of adults need this as well. I must say, when it was prepared, it was really prepared for children. But I come to realize a lot of adults, and there are adults on the international homeschool, and they're not ashamed to say, boy, I never knew none of these things here. And even though they're 35 and 45, they say, priest, I'm so happy that you and your little ones have put it in such a way that even a child could understand it, because I needed the help. So if you don't know, the international homeschool program that we have are classes that are sent out every single day. If you didn't know, I'm talking about classes for your young ones, designed for your young ones. So it's like they're at school. So even though they go to school or you are homeschooling them, we are giving them 2 specific subjects, additional subjects, which is astronomy, which is very important, and of course, their African history and heritage. So every day, Monday to Thursday, they get their classes between 15 to 20 minutes in length. The most might be 30 minutes, 1 or 2 of them, but for sure, it's done in a way to captivate the youths, to make sure it keeps their attention. And every day, they learn something new, and it will add to them. So what I'm saying is, and it's a 10-month program. Basically, that's an academical year. And you could either pay $30 a month, or you could just take the whole year for only $200 for your young ones. If you have a house of 10 people, everybody get the same one program. You know, you just buy one program and it's for everyone. So definitely it is something that I'm sure you would love to be a part of if you didn't know. But I'm showing you now, family, that if you take the International Homeschool Program before my Earth Day, which is the 2nd of January, 2022 will be the next upcoming one, you will be able to get a free Tiger's Nest shirt. Can you imagine that? And we will ship that to you, the free Tiger's Nest t-shirt, designed by the Honorable Prince Almasi. Good design, my lord. Oh yes, wonderful, and all the other shirts, and they're much more in the background. Once you contact us, we could even show you a few more. So my family, I'm sure everyone would love to get the Tiger's Nest shirt, and even if you are not a member, you can still order the Tiger's Nest shirt. I mean, only $35, my lord, for such a wonderful, you know, I mean, representation, and you go out, you know, representing the Tiger's Nest in its full accord. So we definitely give thanks. So contact us, you know what to do. The email, priestisaac27@gmail.com or priestisaacinstitute@gmail.com, or visit the website priestisaacinstitute.com. And you see the International Homeschool Program, it was actually $300 for the year, and it was slashed down to $200, a very valuable program. All right, as I said, family, we are going to be going into the whole aspect of mystic subject, Christ, the cartoons, and the cannabis. That's the meditation. So what I'm going to do, as this is Chalice Talk, and remember, of course, you know how to get your chalice. Let me just remind you of that. By the way, you can get it right here on the website. Just visit the website and press the button, pardon me, order your chalices now. These specific ones are customized and made by the Honorable Prophet Jah Daniel. So just contact us, press the link, and you could go straight to the Honorable Prophet and get your chalices. All right, a wonderful program again that we have in store for you. I'm going to start off by blazing the chalwa. This is customary. This is what Chalice Talk is all about. We light up and go. Reaching out to the Prophet Sheldon, my Lord, trying to contact you, my Lord. Link me when you get a chance. It will be a joy. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to light this up. We're going to meditate on the Night of the Black Tiger for a bit. Trust me, something you're going to full joy. And then we go into the reasoning thereof. So give thanks to the life giver and the keeper of life. Give thanks to the Sabbath coming in. Give thanks to the 3 in 1 and the 1 in 3, the prophet, priest, and king. Holy Emmanuel, I, Selassie, I, Jah, Rastafari. Blessed love, oh, give thanks. Salvation on it. The black man was buying ships. The Black Star Line. Marcus Mosiah Garvey. The black man was giving fiery lectures, speeches. Obviously, we are joining the documentary somewhere in the progress of it. All over the nation. Progress. Marcus Mosiah Garvey challenging the establishment. Mosiah Garvey. The Negro World was established as an international newspaper. And children even in Africa would read the Negro World when it came to the shores and memorize it and run back to the interior and speak the words to the elders, because in colonial Africa you would be executed for reading the words of Marcus Mosiah Garvey. The Black Tiger. Cydonia on the planet Mars, the region that many scientists and even the mere observer would say has pyramids plus a face that many of us have come to realize resembles the face of the Olmec people, the face on Mars. Many of our own scholars has associated the face on Mars with the ancient Olmec head structure. Dr. Malachi York connected the face on Mars directly with the mask of Lord Pakal. In our previous DVD documentary, 7, which goes into the divinity of the Honorable King Emmanuel Charles Edwards, we took time to go into not only the mask of Lord Pakal, but who Lord Pakal is. Lord Pakal was a great king of the main Olmec people. Lord Pakal himself was considered to be the physical manifestation of Quetzalcoatl or Quetzalcoatl, the feathered snake. Lord Pakal, who some say came to the throne at the age of 9, some say 12, lived to be 80 years of age. And his tomb, his pyramid, and more so his mask, has become an object of in-depth conversation as it highlights many different mystics. But before we get into the mask, he's a feathered snake. What is a feathered snake? The feathered snake is a concept that is not unique to the Mayans at all. It is a concept from the creation of civilization itself. The flying serpent, the snake with wings. It is a cosmic concept that you find in all the ancient traditions, whether it be African, Asian, Oriental, or Mesoamerican. They all consider the snake with wings as the physical manifestation of the Creator on earth. Quetzalcoatl. This is why you see the medical symbol as the two snakes with the feathers extending out, also representing the Kundalini. This is why in the scripture the Mosiah says, as Moses lifted up the serpent in the wilderness, so shall I be lifted up, comparing himself to the reptile, to the serpent, as it is an ancient tradition. But as we explained in depth in the documentary 7, this is more than just tradition. This is solar science. We're dealing directly with the 11 to the 11.5-year sunspot cycle. Within the rotation of the electromagnetic field lines of the sun, the equator electromagnetic field line, as well as the polar electromagnetic field line. As the equator of the sun rotates once every 26 days, or 28 days as it appears from the earth, and the polar electrical field line rotates once every 37 days, or once every 40.5 days as it also appears from the earth. Within this cycle of rotation, every 87.5 days, the equator electrical field line collides with the polar electrical field lines. And as a result of this collision, underneath the surface of the sun, these field lines continue to entangle themselves and coil themselves until after a period of time, the energy becomes so strong and so entangled that it bursts from under the surface of the sun, creating what appears to us from this distance to be sunspots. So in the recognition of the solar flares and the solar storms and the solar winds, when the 11-year sunspot cycle is seen on a computer graph, the impression that it gives is as if it is a snake
with feathers. The cycle of the sun is represented as the snake with wings. The ancient ones who had no computer graph whatsoever had the concept of the snake with wings. Not just the Mayans, we mean internationally, throughout history, from the beginning of civilization, at least as far back as we can go, and even up to your modern day religion, the God concept and the God figure continues to align themselves, Moses and Christ, with the snake. That is why the book of Malachi says that the sun, S-U-N, with a capital S, of righteousness shall rise, with healing in its wings. The sun and wings, in the same way that the snake and wings represent someone, because the sun in its cycle, on a computer graph, is seen as a snake with wings. So the ancient ones from the ancient times already comprehended the mechanics of the sun and the solar biology and astronomy in general and the physics of the planet Earth, where they could express in art form, in glyph form, a serpent with wings, and explain to those of us who would read their records that the snake with wings represents the Son of God, S-U-N-S-O-N, that is the creator in a physical.
All right, family, I'm not going to go any more with that. Give thanks to the life giver and the keeper of life. That's from the Night of the Black Tiger. Definitely our third official video documentary, The Divinity of Marcus Mosiah Garvey. You know, in fact, let me give you a little more. I'm just going to take one more jar of chalice. Yeah, you know, and yeah, I'm going to make you touch a bit more. Selassie, Jah, Rastafari, this love.
Physical form.
Not one more jar. And next jar.
Lord
Countless
Packer
of jars left.
is a feathered snake. Lord Packer is an Olmec. The Olmec are the original people of the Western world. They are also referred to as the shy people.
Shy.
And it is obvious that they are similar to the people of Uganda. They are similar to the statues of the Buddha seen in the Oriental world. They are similar to the statues seen in Cambodia, Angkor Thom and Angkor Wat. The Olmec represents the original black man, and it's without a doubt that the Olmec looks exactly like Marcus Mosiah Garvey.
Green as icy mountains of India's forest.
What is interesting about the Olmec is that the Olmec is considered to be the forerunner. Like the Olmec, Marcus Mosiah Garvey is he who comes and brings civilization to the people.
Without a doubt, give thanks again for the life giver and the keeper of life, Emperor Haile Selassie I. Thanks to the mighty prophet Marcus Mosiah Garvey, the terror of the earth. I hear some Tani, just walk through, Minnesota, someplace there in the US, and of course, as we say, even in the documentary here, we're not celebrating for the loss of no one's life. We just, experiencing, the words of Marcus Mosiah Garvey, who said, look for him in the whirlwind and look for him in the thunderstorm. And, just that the natural science. Marcus Garvey talk about coming back as a plague and them kind of things. We call the virus virus. Well, he didn't say virus from my understanding, but a plague, something of the sort, and because there's some of us, we're so fanatic. Remember, this is Chalice Talk. This is where we take our time and go through. Although honestly, I plan not to be that long today. For we're definitely going to be carrying up the Psalms reading. Which Psalms we starting with today? I think it's Psalms 1, but I think so. But we got to just check the proper calculation. Yeah, but not staying too lengthy on it. But so hurricanes, earthquake would come through. Sometimes it hit hard, and it hit our loved ones, and many people die. We don't see what Haiti go through with this hurricane or earthquake. I actually see that in a sense firsthand myself. Nobody have to tell me when it comes to Haiti and the earthquake. And I see hurricane firsthand too, and the damage it can do. And we know it can do some serious damage. And especially in this time, many ones are quick to say, man, that is the work of HAP, or that is the work of these ones that have the ability to manipulate the weather, which I definitely don't doubt. In fact, that's reality. That's how it is right now. Biological warfare, atmospheric warfare. They're talking about climate change and that type of different things. A lot of what is taking place on the earth is by design, in even famine, flood, by design, earthquakes too, hurricanes by design, a lot of. I cannot say the majority of, in fact, that's the point I'm trying to make. Every hurricane that come through, we want to blame it on HAP. Every time the earth shake and buildings crash and people die, we say, boys, HAP do that so the people them can die. And what I'm saying, there are times we have to look deeper than that, because earthquakes didn't begin with HAP. So I don't think HAP can claim all the earthquakes that happen. You understand? What do you call it? Hurricanes didn't begin with them neither. So I don't think that they can claim all that, is happening. And for those who do not know what HAP is, and to be honest, I cannot tell you exactly what the acronyms stand for. I think it's High Aurora something. Hey, look up HAP for me. It's HAARP. But really what they are, they're located, I think it's in Alaska, and they have the devices that have the ability, HAARP. HAARP, capital letters, it's an acronym. And they have the ability to manipulate the weather. I think they have these extremely low ELF, extremely low frequency waves that would hit the ionosphere and heat up the ionosphere and send back a reflection and all of these different things.
High frequency active auroral research program.
And the Honorable Prince say it's the high frequency active aurora research program. All right, so that's it by name. And so it's a research program, really, an innocent thing. But the conspiracy theorists saying that this is being used for otherwise. You understand? Of course, I'm not a follower. I don't just get up and follow everything anybody says. I honestly believe that the HAP would have the ability to do just what we're talking about. But it's not just them alone. I don't know, somehow they seem to be the sacrificial goat here, but it's enough different little setups in different parts of the world, countries and governments that have the ability to do that. Just like a few of them have their finger on the nuclear bomb, a few of them have their finger on the earthquake shake too, and the hurricane wind. And the thing is not that, it's not impossible, family. Don't you know what they call rain seeds and these kind of things? It's manipulating weather. It's not making the weather. It's manipulating it. A storm could be made bigger. Look what they had in Katrina. I don't have these pictures anymore, but there was a meteorologist. That's not the right term, but it's the one that deals with the weather. It is a meteorologist to some degree, but he has another title. But anyway, he was showing that the eye of the storm Katrina that hit New Orleans, that the eye itself was not a natural eye. And he explained it very well. He did a whole lecture on it. And like, for example, that one, I am of the opinion that Katrina for sure wasn't a real storm. If real, it was definitely hyped up with some level of technology to do exactly what it did. I'm positive. from my research, and I could clearly, remember the feeling at the time and going through the research and even seeing those pictures. I don't have those to show you now for sure. I'm just speaking off my head, This wasn't even a part of the script. It's Charlie's talk. But and there are other storms too that, ones who know and do the research, some ones who even illegally fly into them. I mean, ones of that expert level and know that, hey, something's wrong here. Somebody's really manipulating this, because there are whistleblowers in every sector. There are people who see wrong and speak out in almost every, police, in the climatologist world. Climatologist wasn't the title neither, it's something else. But anyway, so we definitely give thanks for the God of earthquake and lightning. That was the point, and it was just a little lesson there, which is Marcus Mosiah Garvey. So when you see the man come through on the 17th of August, man, look how it come through. Yes, he came through terrible on the 17th of August, and Haiti get a kind of a jerk up still, and he went into Jamaica and flood Jamaica on his earth. They think it was the Sabbath self, Honorable Prophet Daniel was giving us some rundown on that when we had him as a visitor here on our program. And so when you see Garvey show up on the 17th, man, no give half no credit for that. That's the prophet coming through. And sometimes you have to be in tune to, some of the names of these times, and so when there's a prophet stepping in. But if you observe the night of the Black Tiger, you get a good comprehension of what we are speaking about. Yeah, give thanks. So definitely today we are going to be talking about, the Christ, the consciousness of the Christ, and the cannabis. And we're speaking also of the cartoons, as well as, again, basically leading you into fairy tale folly days and nursery crimes, the firing squad edition. Of course, this is like a staple amongst us. Every year we basically come out with something else as it relates to fairy tale folly days and nursery crimes. This reasoning started in Tortola several years ago. Just blessing all ones in such a land, Tortola land. And with fairy tale folly days and nursery crimes, the lecture, then came the judgment. And there's so many different aspects of it that we've broken down and brought to the forefront, So this lecture coming up on Wednesday, which I'm hoping everyone, will be a part of, is going to be brand new vibration, brand new information. What we're giving you tonight is just adding to it. This is not even basically a part of this or necessarily a part of it, but just adding to it and just adding to the whole line or series of lectures that we have done on this topic. And let me just say the reason why it is an important topic, family, because to some it may look like fun and games. There ain't nothing serious or silly here. This is very serious. That is why we would go as far as to say it is the firing squad edition. Some people say, oh, that's a bit too harsh. But I mean, Mickey Mouse is a bit too harsh. Minnie Mouse with all her undies exposed. You don't think that's a bit too harsh? You never took note of that, eh? Yeah, the reason why I slowed down, there was another way of saying that in our local way. I mean, wow, I think you would run for the border. So give thanks for humility. But yes, if you check Minnie Mouse well, I didn't have her photo up for this presentation, but you see, she's the first. What do you think they call it? A mini skirt. She's the first to shorten it up and make sure you could see what brand the underwear is. It ain't a joke, eh? And that's simple. But anyway, you see, what I want to get into tonight, really, we're talking about the cannabis. And you may be holding a joy with what you're looking at there, but that's really what it is. And basically, as I said, fairy tale folly days and nursery crimes, the firing squad edition. Looking forward to that and glorify these triple lectures that we will be doing at that time. Let me start here, although we've started already, man. Now, you're looking at the presidential seal. At least the version that you will see on the United States dollar for sure. Because you know they have modified it a bit, and the stars are doing something else now as if they forgot about the 6-point Jewish stuff. But that's not what I want to talk about right now. So you're looking at the eagle here. And the original eagle that you would look at in its full context is riddled with the number 13. And the reason why we would highlight that is because, you know, 13 has been told to us to be this, you know, very unlucky number. So you can't be playing with the number 13. But now the same people that, you know, Friday the 13th, etc., that gave us this is who gave us this presidential seal. So if you look at the eagle, you'll notice that you have 13 arrows in the left talon. And then you have this olive branch of peace, where you have 13 leaves and 13 berries. And even the same 6-point star that I spoke of a moment ago, above the 6-point star, you have the 6-point star, pardon me, in the clouds, you have 13 little stars, 5-point stars that make up the 6-point star. Good. And it's 13 of them. So we're seeing 13 leaves, 13 berries, 13 arrows, 13 stars. E pluribus unum. This Latin phrase is actually made up of 13 letters. And the stripes on the shield of the eagle is also 13. So it is over obvious that there is a direct and purpose use of the number 13 in the design of this very important presidential seal. So this Melchizedek number obviously has a lot of value, very important. The 13 months of the year, when you construct that 28-day month, and this is in accordance to the moon, not to the constellations. The 13 months a year in that cycle, the moon itself, M-O-O-N, moon, M-O-N-T-H, month. The month and the moon, the new moon is the new month. You see the science. So when you observe even all of that and you compare it now, as I said, you're looking at the eagle and the 13, the science of the 13. Christ with his 12 disciples is the 13. Even the constellations, really, of course, we know of the serpent holder, Ophiuchus, is 13 constellations as it relates to the zodiac belt, the ecliptic belt specifically. Jacob, and of course, his 12 sons is 13. Or if you just want to look at the aspects of his children alone, well, you go on to his sons, 12 sons, and his daughter Dinah, which is 13 again. On that level, that science, back to Christ, his disciple, the 12 brothers, and the female Mary Magdalene is 13 again. So it's a deep science, and even with him, it makes 14, which carries it to another level, which also can be brought into constellation type, because Gemini is actually 2 people, which really makes it 14 figures. Yeah, Gemini is a man and a woman. So when you consider, you know, all of this, and this is really what we're getting into. If you notice, we mentioned constellation. So that's the handiwork of the Most High. You see, you have to understand and comprehend what is referred to as Freemasonry. Although ones speak of the Grandmaster, really, the real daddy is the great architect. Because the great architect, in a sense, represents, you know, what you may consider to be God. So within the whole aspect of, as I said, the Masonry now, and you understand, even with this seal, when you observe it on the dollar bill, you notice the pyramid on the other side, it has the 13 rows. And then underneath, it has the Roman numerals 1776. Again, the 7 and the 6 is 13, 1776. And it's July, the 1776 is when, you know, the 4th of July, that the same country got its independence. And if you look at the phrase July the 4th, not the 4th of July, but July the 4th, it's 13 letters. The phrase American Eagle is 13 letters again. It's 1917, the 13th of June. They say Woodrow Wilson sent 13 ships to assist it's France or Spain in the war. That part of it got to clarify. But for sure, it's the 13th of June, 13 ships. 1917, Woodrow Wilson has 13 letters in his name too. And don't take that for no joke. We have done, come on, the programs we've done on the US presidents and the programs that we've done. I mean, on the US presidents, man, let me just leave it at that. Ain't going no deeper than that. And you can see even some of them down to the day they were birthed. Look at the connection. How many times you find coincidences between John F. Kennedy and Abraham Lincoln? Countless, from the day how they were killed and where they were and how much children they have and where they found their wife, their age in comparison to their wife and where the wife comes from and where they grew up. So many things just align. I'm not going into the depths of it. But you know they were killed 100 years apart. You understand? That's Abraham Lincoln and John F. Kennedy. Yeah. The man that shot Abraham Lincoln shot him in a theater and ran into a warehouse. The man that shot John F. Kennedy shot him from a warehouse and ran into a theater. I mean, and it can go on and on and on. So the point I'm making now, the reason why I'm bringing all of this up, because we're talking about Christ, cartoons, and cannabis. So this subject I'm into, which one of these three does this have to do with? As I said, the great architect, it has to do with all three, by the way. The great architect, the greatest book is the heavens, man. The geometry is the heavens. It's the heavens, Rastafari, trust me. So this is why the eagle would have stars above its head, because it's the heavens. So basically, as the Honorable Prince Alamase was expressing on the program, The Tiger's Nest, previous evening, he was showing the audience, really, we have to look into the origin of this specifically and where it comes from. And he brought into the aspect, the Kabbalah, and how the Kabbalah itself, that book, which is considered a Jewish magic book, was stolen by the 9 monks. They stole it from Isaac the Blind, and these are French monks, if I'm not mistaken. Yes, and they basically over time taking this science. It's a science, the science of the esoteric, the science of subliminal, the science of secret messages. That's what the whole Kabbalah theory, the whole tree of life understanding also came in. And this was the foundation that brought into existence what is known as the Knights of the Temples of Solomon, the Knights of the Garter. So the Knights of the Garter now pride themselves really on that level there of secrecy and understanding coded things. And they built themselves into a great government, basically an empire of such, with their army, and they would assist other ones in battle. They were an army unto themselves. The Knights of the Garter are forced to be reckoned with, to the point that they fell ill with the Pope of Rome and the King of France, Pope Urban, I think the 4th and 5th, or the 5th. Well, it's Urban and Philip of France. So what happened? That's when they even executed Jacques de Molay. Jacques de Molay was the 23rd Grand Master of the Knights of the Garter, you know, man. And the Knights of the Temple, not the Garter, pardon, not the Knights of the Garter, pardon me. The Knights of the Templars, pardon me, please, forgive me. If I said Knights of the Garter before, please forgive me. The Knights of the Templars, which originally is the Knights of the Temples of Solomon. Yes, please forgive me. And Jacques de Molay was burnt at the stake, you know, because the Roman Pope and the King of France was not too pleased with their growth and with their strength, and they had to run and go underground, and they were rescued by Robert the Bruce. Robert the Bruce, the King of Scotland, that rescued them. That's why we're telling you that even the Knights of the Garter's flag, which is the big red flag, is the same British flag with some blue triangle added. So really, just to run through this quickly, you know, just to give you an idea again of what it is that is being done, you know, through the entertainment, to the cartoon. That's the lecture's name, eh? Fairy tale, folly days, nursery crime. So these are the things that we're dealing with, and all of them, there's a subtle undertone expressed. Now, in the case of Chippendale, and the reason why I would use this as an example, because it's very easy for those who totally, you know, not aware of what I'm talking about, it's easy for them to at least pick up like, oh, okay, I think I get what he's saying. You know, simple as that. That's how you have to teach it. As King Emmanuel said, you put the food, you know, in the reach of the children. All right. So even big people can pick up this, and children really means in mind too. So what is happening here? So this is the Walt Disney characters, Chip and Dale, brothers, twins, chipmunks, and the acorn, and you know, their lifestyle is very important to this whole analogy here. For Chip and Dale being chipmunks, they live in trees and etc. etc. Now, I am positive, let me find this one. Just give me a second here. I am positive, that's it, that Chip and Dale is basically a deification of, to some degree, at least to a memorialization, if you want to say, and to concretize the presence forever of this man, which is Thomas Chippendale. So, or immortalize him. Yeah, he dead, but yeah, immortalize would be a better word. Not to just remember him, to somehow keep him alive. And he's been kept alive in the cartoon characters Chip and Dale. Now, when you just watch Chip and Dale, the cartoon characters, and you watch Chip and Dale, the man, and you see the similarities, plus, depending on the individual, for example, Mr. Chippendale was renowned for expressing the Gothic art of building, but he is known for expressing it in furniture, specifically using wood. I want you to hear this good, eh? Remember, when it comes to the Knights of the Temples of Solomon, the term mason really has to do with mason, like building. It really has to do with mason. And the term mason and building itself is seen to be connected to the Gothic style when it comes to the Knights of the Templars, the Knights of the Temples of Solomon. Masonry in general leans a lot to this Gothic style, Doric and the Corinth etc. Good. So when you observe the work of Mr. Chippendale, it is said that there are specific signs and symbols that you could clearly see, especially in his ancient work, that has, you know, even passed down to today, and their expression of the secret art, the Gothic art of masonry. So he's someone that is respected in the field. He was born in 1810, if I'm not mistaken, in Otley, in England.
Yes.
Yes, very good. And he obviously rose to some status in the brotherhood, in the fraternity. And I am saying that he is somewhat deified, immortalized for sure. And even remembered, maybe I was still correct with that, and still remembered in the cartoon characters Chip and Dale, because this is how he spells his name too. It's not Chip and Dale, Chip and Dale. And that's his name, Chip and Dale. Now, what is outstanding about Thomas Chippendale? It is that he uses, would use wood, trees, to express that sacred Gothic art. This is important stuff, you know. Maybe not to you, but to them. And this brother here is doing it. Because if you go to some of the cathedrals across Europe and even in the Caribbean, you would see a lot of the similar designs inside of the cathedrals, or even outside, the way that they have been built, you know, because it's not just cabinet, it's chairs, it's beds, it's so many things, so many different designs over the centuries that you can accredit to the Chippendale and his family and his enterprise that still exists up to today. You have a Chippendale in your house? Oh, cha. You want you. People watch you and wonder if you're a millionaire. All right. So the Chippendale character or characters, they live in trees. You know, it's just a subtle way of expressing it. They live in trees, they're chipmunks. If you notice here, they are in love with the acorn. Anyone that know anything about masonry, you know acorn is a prime symbol, the pineal gland. You know, you see it on a lot of American flags, and when I say American flags, state flags, the acorn. And you would see it on a lot of the works of Thomas Chippendale. They ate corn, they live in trees. So he is considered a woodsman. Anyone of that level, he's a woodsman. It's a title, a woodsman. And Thomas, if you know, in that occult world too, is considered to be the twin of Christ. That's why in the artwork, you see of the disciples, there's always one that looks just like Christ. That's Thomas. Thomas is considered to be the twin of Christ because Thomas means twin. Thomas Didymus, twin. Twin. If you notice, Chippendale brothers are twins. And Thomas Chippendale has been, again, immortalized in these twins, Thomas, Chip and Dale, Chippendale, chipmunks who live in trees. Same expression of his work, trees. And of course, the acorn, which really kind of put the cherry on top of the cake. So what I'm expressing there to you, family, the same thing they did with Robert the Bruce is that they deify, immortalize, and many different things when it comes to people that they love and revere, and putting them in cartoon characters and superheroes and these different things is something that is right in front of our eyes, but we miss it. Robert the Bruce, why is he so important? He actually preserved the art form. He protected the Knights of the Garters when they were basically running for their life, you know? And of course, this is why his Bruce Cave have become so you know, renowned. He himself hid in his Bruce Cave. And some account says that some of the Knights of the Templars, did I say Knights of the Garters again? I don't know. Okay, I just want to make sure. Right? Some of the
French monks are called the Knights of the Temple of Solomon.
Knights of the Temple of Solomon. Give thanks. Yes, he would have definitely kept some of them and hid them from the forces of the King of France at the time and the Pope Urban. So this cave, Bruce Cave, has become renowned. You can go specifically to Scotland and still visit it here. See it here? The Bruce Cave.